Welcome to Life by Design, where I'm sharing practical energy tips and inspiration for ambitious sensitives with bright energy, big dreams, and big destinies. Today, we're talking about honoring your true yes. And this comes from my own personal experience from last week. So I am a mother of two small children, and every September, there's this opportunity to be a room parent. And I felt compelled to be a room parent again. I did it last year. It was a lot of work. It was a big undertaking, labor of love, and I don't regret any part of it. But when I was presented with the opportunity this year, there was a part of me that automatically wanted to say yes. And there was another part of me that was saying no. And so I found myself in this conflict. I had to check in with myself because I didn't want to make a decision that would cause me to feel put upon or drained or unfocused or resentful because I'm not focusing on some of the things that I need to focus on. And so how I worked through that was I asked myself a question. And the question was, why do I feel compelled to say yes? Okay, just that simple question. And what ended up coming to the surface first is the obvious reason that I wanted to be there for my son. I wanted to be present in his classroom. I wanted him to know that I care. And there you go. That's my first reason. The second reason was that, a part of me really likes to be around kids. I'm a veteran teacher. I enjoy children and teaching and learning and all that fun stuff. And so that was another aspect, is that I just enjoy it. As I asked myself that question, why do I feel compelled to say yes? I started getting into the deeper layers of why and why that conflict was happening within me. So the next thing that came to the surface is there's a part of me that wanted to be knowing everything going on in the classroom, right? And having more of a leadership role in the classroom so that I could have control. And that's another part of me that is kind of a shadow aspect. I wanted to be in the business of the classroom, and I wanted to be a part of the planning meetings and the events and the finances and everything that goes on in the classroom. And I realized that it was the control behavior that was showing up. And that's one of my old defaults, is control. And so I realized that that was another reason why I felt compelled to say yes. Deeper than that, I felt if I don't say yes, and this is totally illogical, right? It's just completely raw emotion, is if I don't say yes, then I'm not a good mom. And I'm not completely present for my child, which of course isn't true, right? But that's what was happening. So I realized that that was another conversation within me that I needed to work through in order to be where I was actually meant to be, in my yes or my no. And so once I realized that, and I realized obviously it's not true, the next question that I ask myself is, if I'm saying yes to volunteering in the classroom in a leadership role, what am I saying no to? Okay, so if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? And that was crystal clear. Okay, so what I realized is that if I say yes to this, what I'm saying no to is my focus in my business to scale and up level what I've already created. And if I were to sacrifice that at this point, there would be a part of me, honestly, that would be resentful, right? Or would feel put upon. And so that was clear to me. This year, I said, I'm focusing on my business, I'm focusing on my health. And, my son, my daughter, they are independent enough where they can be at school and I can pop in as it works for my schedule, but not take on such a committed role throughout the entire course of the school year. Okay, so I came to that conclusion. It was really clear, but that one deeper piece underneath all the layers, that I'm not a good person, was totally not true. And so I share this with you because I know in my clients' lives, and possibly in yours too, they're presented with a lot of different invitations, a lot of requests for help. And that's just a part of life. I mean, if you're connecting with other people, then you're going to get those invitations and opportunities and requests. And it is up to you to discern what is your true yes, and then to honor that. And so the 2 questions that I shared with you are going to help you to get to the layers within yourself that are stopping you from knowing what your true yes is. So ask yourself, why do I feel compelled to say yes? And then deeper than that, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? The clarity that you'll get, you're going to want to follow through with that. So once you know what it is that you actually feel, to then be able to trust that and move forward. So I spent about, half an hour or so kind of really focusing on this question that I had and working through those emotions. And then after that, I gave my response, and then I was able to move forward. So some people stay stuck in weeks, months, maybe even years thinking about why they're saying yes, why they're saying no, or they find themselves in situations that they don't want to be in. So it's up to you to be empowered enough to speak up for yourself and say what is true for you without guilt, without shame, and simply communicate that. So after I knew my answer, I was able to write that email. I had a conversation with a teacher, and that was that. If you are career driven and you're focused on what you're creating in your business, you actually have to create these boundaries around your time as you're building, especially if you're in the beginning stages. You cannot be spreading your energy out everywhere. You really have to say no to things that are not going to contribute to what you're creating. There will always be other opportunities for connection. Saying no was actually the most loving thing that I could do, not only for myself, but also for my children. Because if I'm happy and I'm fulfilled and I have the energy that I need to be in, to be positive and to have more love to give, then it's better for everybody. Whereas if I'm feeling spent or resentful or put upon, that's not going to be a happy person. And I take full responsibility for that. So that's why I said no this year. And I no longer feel like a bad person, but I do want to be honest with you that, that's just a part of life, and being human is we have these emotions that we go through. It's not a bad thing, but you just don't want to stay stuck for too long. That's why I'm sharing it with you, to accelerate and shorten your time that you stay stuck in any of these emotions when you're posed with a request, an invitation, or an opportunity. So I hope that's been helpful for you. If you liked what I shared with you today, I have a free guide at healinginbloom.com/free gift on how to start focusing on the right things in your life and in your business. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time on Life by Design.